Welcome to our first virtual session for the class English 4th semester Advanced B. I hope you're doing great. I really miss you. I hope you're staying home. And I hope this video will help you remember a topic that you saw on your previous English courses, but that is central to this topic. So today we will be discussing active and passive voice. So, verbs in English have 5 properties. Today, we will be discussing the property of voice. There are 2 grammatical voices, which are the active voice and the passive voice. Let's start off with the active voice. The active voice means that a sentence has a subject that acts upon its verb. So what we're saying is that a subject is performing the action given by the verb. Okay, that's it. Whereas when we talk about the passive voice, what we're actually saying is that the subject is recipient of a verb's action. Okay, now this will become clearer, I promise. So let's talk about the active voice. What we're saying then is that the subject performs the action. Okay, for example, I could say the sentence, elephants love peanuts. If you notice here, you could identify with me that this is a basic sentence in English where elephants is what we would call the subject. This right here is the verb, and this right here is the object of the sentence. How do we identify the object of a sentence? Well, we would ask, what do elephants love? Well, they love peanuts. So that's the object of a sentence. Okay, this is an active voice. The subject is performing the action of loving peanuts. Now let's talk and let's see how the passive voice works. Okay, so instead of the subject performing the action, we would say that the subject is a recipient of the verb's action, or that the subject receives. Now, please note that here the subject is performing the action, while here the subject is receiving the action. Okay, so let's work with the same sentence now, but let's see how this sentence changes in the passive voice. Okay, there are the same elements, but there are some different things about it. So we would say peanuts, and I don't have a different color, so I would use blue. We would say peanuts are loved by elephants. Notice that we start off the sentence with the object. Okay? What is loved by the elephants? The peanuts are. Okay? Then we would add a conjugated form of the verb to be, which is are. This is the verb to be. This is the object. Then we would use the verb in the past participle. Usually we will need to add a preposition here. And finally, we will finish with the subject of the sentence. Now notice that both sentences are saying the same thing, but the emphasis on who's doing what is different. Here we're emphasizing the fact that elephants love peanuts, while here we're emphasizing the fact that peanuts are loved by elephants. Okay? Now let's talk a bit more about the passive voice. Why do we use the passive voice instead of the active voice? We would use it to show that we are more interested in a certain part of the sentences. That is, to emphasize a part of the sentence. Now, there would be two uses for it, okay? The first of all is we would use it to avoid stating the obvious. Okay, let's say that I'm saying this sentence that is in passive voice. I'm saying my car is being fixed. Now, if we look at the sentence, we know that this part right here, my car, this is the main focus of the sentence. This is what the sentence is emphasizing. Okay? This is the passive voice. If I were to write this sentence using the active voice, I would say probably that the mechanic is fixing my car. Notice that I'm saying the same thing, but I'm emphasizing here that my car is the one that is being fixed, while here I'm emphasizing the fact that a mechanic is fixing my car. Now, this is obvious. It's obvious that a mechanic is fixing my car because I'm not a mechanic, right? So, to avoid stating the obvious, for example here, I would use the passive voice. I would say my car is being fixed. This is one use of the passive voice. The second use is we also use the passive voice when we don't know who did something or when it isn't important. Let's say, for example, this sentence. I'm not saying I believe this is true, I'm just writing the sentence, okay? Okay, so again, I'm not saying that this is true, I'm just saying what they told me. So, if I say Bad Bunny is a great artist, so I've been told, this sentence is also using the passive voice. I'm emphasizing, or this sentence is emphasizing the fact that Bad Bunny is a great artist. I don't really care about who said it, okay? I could say Bad Bunny is a great artist. My sister told me so, but nonetheless, I wouldn't be emphasizing the person who told me, just the fact that Bad Bunny is considered a great artist. Okay, so these are the two uses that we would have for the passive voice. So, active and passive voice in a nutshell is the following. We use the active voice to emphasize that a subject performs the action given by the verb, and we would use the passive voice to say that the subject is recipient of the action or that the subject is receiving the action. We would use the passive voice to emphasize a part of the sentence. We're stating the same things that in active voice, just that we're emphasizing a different part of the sentence. Now, we would use it to avoid stating something obvious, like the example we saw recently, or when we don't know who said something or who did something, but or we don't really care who did it. Okay? So this is active and passive voice. I hope it was easy to understand. And I want you to remember that if you have any questions regarding this topic on active and passive voice, I will be available tomorrow at WebEx meetings on Cisco at 9:20, like if you were in our English class. You have the link and the password available for you on my blog and on the school's platform. So I hope you stay safe and goodbye.